Can you hear me now? Mic check 1 2 1 3. All right, let me turn on my break. What I'm trying to do. All right, sounds good. Ah, man. Hey, I'm sorry. I almost took my jersey off. Almost took my jersey off because your boy ain't happy right now. I don't know if y'all watch football. I got married at Lambeau. You know, me and my wife, big time Packer fans. And just not too happy right now. It is what it is. But it's okay because my grandpa got my back. So I'm going to put him behind me because my back hurts after watching that game. It was brutal. It was brutal. But me and the family had a good time. We were okay. You know, the show goes on. So we're going to let a couple people trickle in. I'm a little late, but I decided last minute to allow other people, like the public, to join us here today so we can cover the strategy. And I guess it's just more like to give people a sneak peek as far as like what we're doing on Sundays. So, why not? So welcome everybody. I want everybody to know if you are here and you can't talk, that's fine. It's for members only, okay? And it's okay, right? But please still do like and subscribe and just show support and love to the channel, and especially if you can appreciate me kind of letting you in as far as what we do on Sundays, okay? Every Sunday we are doing this. So, but if you're public, great. If you're KGU, just know that I do share a lot of this information with the family, all right? KGU is home. I will always say that. I preach that in my Discord because just that is what it is. But ultimately, I just wanted to open the doors just a little bit. Your boy was feeling kind of down, and I figured, what's the remedy? Well, let everybody in. I need y'all help. Support your boy. Call the ambulance because your boy's sad. But anyway, what's up, Marlon? What's up, Monique? Road Life, I see you, big dog. L. Collins, Nisha, the queens are in the building. Love to see it. Marlon says I'm still boycotting Team Cap. Hey, Team Cap, let's go. I actually would love to see Cap come back. You know, it is what it is, though. Good evening, Queen. Man, we got a lot of queens in the building. Love to see it. So, all right. So, real quick. All right. Last week was amazing, right? The whole Discord community killed it. KGU killed it. I seen so many people posting their wins. I didn't see a lot of losses. And if there were, they weren't really big. So, you know, shout out to everybody who was playing accordingly, listening to the call outs, being patient because there was some volatility, right? We had the 25 basis points that was called out by the Fed. That was great to see. It was expected by the greater majority, and it just worked out, right? And then let's transition into all the IPOs that kind of went down, right? We were right about all of them, right? We talked about Gemini. We talked about I'm sorry, hold up. Brain fart. Gemini. We talked about man, it's a sports betting app. No, it's a StubHub. And then there was like three other ones. And then ultimately we won big when it came to PTRN, right? Pattern group. Okay. So I'm actually going to be working on a short on an update as far as how Pattern Group, how that all transpired, how we got in on the IPO, what made me more confident on that specific IPO versus the other ones, because that's the PTRN is my highest grade. If you guys watched that video, you know I gave grades to all the IPOs that was coming out, and it came out. And just a quick recap, like it opened below the $14 that was confirmed, right? So you had to confirm a price for the IPO price of $14. I think it opened around $13.50 or something like that, and then it fell all the way down to about $12.75. So I wasn't paying attention at open because it just kind of happened real quick. But then I was able to load up around the $13 range, bring my average down. So I loaded up with about 45 more shares, and then we seen it hit a high of about $16 before, right, within the same day. So we love to see it. So I'm going to speak to what's going on with that company, where I think it's going, as far as the technicals go, because not a lot of news came out about it. And we got a lot of subscribers on that short reel, so I don't want to leave anybody hanging if they were expecting more information on pattern group. So we'll talk about that in a different video. This video here is all about me. Typically it's me, the Orcas, the Anglers, and the Megalodons getting together and figuring out what's the week look like for the SPY. And we might touch on another play, but keep in mind that on Thursdays we do our rapid fire chart analysis, right? And during that session, everybody, that's public, everybody has access to that live stream. Everybody can come with their tickers or whatever and ask questions, right? And I break down the tickers upon your request, and we find a lot of good plays in there, a lot of swing trades, and that's what we're all about. Okay, so we found a lot of plays there. So tonight, before I go to bed, I do plan on setting those alerts for those said tickers, which we've already put some placeholders in play that actually came through on Friday. We killed the game. What did we kill it on Friday? Wasn't really thinking about talking about this, but I mean, Coin crushed it. SPY crushed it. What else was a hit? I think Lulu was one. And then we called out Target. I hated the price action, but it did move the way we wanted it to move. And then I think there was one other. Hold on, let me. Nvidia was another one. So I'm sure there's like one or two more, but the entire week it was a great week. So shout out to everybody who played and who was paying attention to the levels I was posting, and that made money, because that's what it's all about, making money. So I felt good. I had one of my better mental trading weeks last week, and I hope to maintain and continue that momentum going into this week. But yeah, anyway, before I get into the charts and talk about the SPY, we might touch on another stock. We'll see if we have time. I have other obligations, but do we have any questions? Can you drop a Disney chart in Discord? Want to verify levels? Yes, I will do that, Roll Life. I do believe the last time I checked on Disney, I understand the whole losing 13 point something billion in a day because of, I'm not gonna, speak to, the politics and what happened, but no matter what happened there, I still seen Disney trading pretty much flat. So if anything, it might be an opportunity to buy if you guys are investors. If you don't like Disney anymore because of what they did, ABC, whatever, I totally understand that. But I do want you to try to take your emotions out of it. I mean, you feel the way you feel, nobody can tell you that, but you also have to understand who Disney is and are they going anywhere. They just own too many IPOs. They have too much, their moat is too large when it comes to like streaming and content, right? So you got Marvel, you got ABC, you got ESPN. ESPN just made a deal with WWE. WWE just did WrestlePalooza, which was like off the charts. So they're doing a lot of stuff, right? So just keep that in mind. A lot of times you see stuff like this, and then you see a company sell off, but then you have to ask yourself, is this a temporary setback, right? Are they going anywhere? The main question I would have you ask is a company, input any company, is it too big to fail, right? And Disney, I believe, is one of those. That's why I pushed Disney so much for so long, all the way back to when I was trading there. I want to say $76 to $84, something along those lines. And that's my average on Disney right now. So yeah, that's what I got to say about Disney. So hopefully you guys find this as an opportunity to buy, and let's cross our fingers that they pull their heads out of what and figure out whatever it is they need to do to keep the main thing. Let's focus on business and not doing other stuff. I'm not gonna get into it. All right, so anyway, any questions before we go into the charts? Shout out to 25 people watching. Please hit the like button. Oh, hold on, I got. Can you drop Disney? Okay, I'm looking for opportunities. They are not going anywhere. Absolutely, real life, real talk. And if Disney ever pulls back to about $85, like if it pulls back under $90, your boy is loading up again. It is what it is. I'm not ever selling my Disney position. On top of that, they do pay dividends, so dividends is a good way to have some passive income. So just keep that in mind, y'all. You don't need to like the company, but if you're using the services and your kids like Disney, they like Mickey Mouse, I don't know. It might be worth investing. So let's see here. Let me make sure I'm good. All right. So without further ado, I gotta text my wife because I need a drink and I don't want to abandon you right now. Can you bring me a beverage? Doesn't matter what. I got a lot of talking to do. Okay. So I have not reviewed. I don't preview the charts or something like that. I watch. Well, I pull it up and everything's live with you guys. So just bear with me. We're gonna take a peek and we're gonna get into it. All right. So where's my chart button? Mic check. Can you hear me now? I want to make sure that I'm good on this channel. Put a 1 in the chat if you can hear your boy. Okay. I will not continue unless I get confirmation because I've already fallen into the trap of talking and doing some silent movies for y'all, and I'm not trying to do that today. All right, no silent movies for real. All right. Thank you, appreciate it. All right. Okay, so what do you see on my screen, right? If you are new here and you have not been you're not privy to what you see, that's okay. But essentially, this looks like throw up, right, on a chart. But you have to understand that me and the Sacrifice for Riches community have been working SPY from bottom to top, and typically every month we reset everything and then we come up with our monthly strategy. Our monthly strategy is typically done with the anglers and the megalodons by the first Saturday of the month. So sorry, first Sunday of the month typically. And so this is the results of that, right? And the SPY's just been on an absolute rocket, so it is what it is. So of course we're gonna zoom in so you don't need to see all of the noise, but I wanted you to zoom out just so you can see kind of how we start, or where we've come from, right? But again, if you are KGU and you're here right now, you have been privy to these charts. You guys just don't get the whole breakdown, right? It is what it is. And why? That's because we have a ton of crown traders that are talking about the SPY, including our boy KG. You got Catching Rockets and several people that are not crown traders, you know, but they're still crowns, right? If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. Not everybody needs to be wearing a crown to be a crown, if you understand what I'm saying. And there's a lot of goats in there that are kind of doing their thing and supporting the community, you know, that just doesn't have the title, right? But it is what it is. So there's a lot of communication on the SPY. That's why, you know, I don't have like a live breakdown on it typically, except for with my group based on how I trade. It is what it is. All right, so let's take a look. So this is my first time looking at everything, and the first thing I'm noticing is that of course, I'm looking at the daily. We had some indecision going on. That makes sense. That's because we were waiting for the Fed to come out with a rate decision. We did a little bit of a pullback and we popped up, right? So from here, I noticed that we were approaching this supply zone. We did ride this. If I were to zoom in, you know that we did pull back on this. So we did play this rejection, and then we eventually cut through. Once you cut through supply typically becomes demand, as you're seeing right here. Supply is becoming demand, right? And those are opportunities to then again ride the wave towards the upside. So we broke up, we came down, retested, and continue towards the upside, right? And we have our levels, as you can see, of what we were looking for as far as confirmation above or below to play towards the up or downside is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here in a little bit, but give me a minute. So first off, what I would like to know is where we headed to if we continue towards the upside. Well, I already have my charting for the most part in play, so I'm gonna go ahead and then find my cap, which is 667.31, right? So about 667.31 would be my new high, like my new ceiling for the SPY, okay? And it already hit one of my key levels here. I just didn't have it drawn out. It was really close to about 665 because that's where I was expecting it to go once we popped above 663. Okay, so I'm gonna tag that as yellow. If I'm not presenting this as a play, right, you will see red, yellow, blue, and white on my chart. So let's see here. Let me see if I can give you the clean photo view. Do I want to? I will eliminate this for now so you can get a clean look, and then I'll bring it back. So this is typically what you will see for my chart, right? You'll see white as a foundation. A yellow is a key level for me. That's going to represent a key level of resistance if we are below this blue dash line, or key level support if, you know, we break above it, headed towards this blue line, and, you know, continued on from there. But essentially this blue line is 663 is like my chop zone. I call it my crossroad, and it's typically tagged and labeled. I'll show you how it's typically labeled if I am presenting it to you. Oh, it's already here. So let's go ahead and save this. And you'll see a message like this. So this all populated as an alert for, you know, people within my Discord, but I did not give a play. I just wanted people to be made aware that, hey, we're hitting a new high, which is also a crossroad for us. If we cross this point, then we're looking pretty bullish. That's what that represents, okay? So you'll see this little icon of kids crossing, and that's going to be your indication that, you know, we're crossing the street, and we're probably going to be more bullish than bearish, right? And that's kind of where we are. We crossed 663.03, and that tells me that we have continuation towards the upside coming unless we break below. So for as long as we're above 663, I have us headed to 665, which we got close to touching. Now, for us to play this to the upside, we need confirmation above 665 before we look for entry on calls. If we fail to break above here and we see some rejection wicks like we're seeing here, then we're looking for price action on a smaller time frame, and we're looking for it to retrace back to 663. Now you have to be careful at this level, okay? You have to be careful because it could be simple retracement, right? So when you break up here, yes, you can write this down, but you have to understand that when we have bullish momentum, it could be a small pullback before it takes off, right? So when you are in a bull market, or if you're in a bullish territory and you know you are, then sometimes it's best just to wait for the play to come to you. Actually, hold up, I gotta do something. I gotta put those back because I need those there. But sometimes it can be best just to wait for the play to come back to a key level for you to decide whether or not you're gonna enter long or not, okay? But to be determined. If you plan on playing the SPY, it's volatile, right? And if we don't come back to retest 663.03, I'm personally not touching this for call options until we break above 665. Now, if you're a scalper and you know what you're doing, great. I would highly advise, not financial advice, but from a technical perspective, I highly advise for you to utilize some type of indicators, whether it's VWAP or volume profile or something like that. But I just would not be looking to catch the middle of a move, right? You have to be cognizant of that, okay? So have your charts ready or your indicators ready so that you are fully prepared, and then understand price action. So don't forget, hold on, let me see if I can show you something. Don't forget that I provide a cheat sheet. If you don't have this cheat sheet, please go ahead and screenshot it, okay? These are key candlestick patterns that I like, right? That I like to see for a probability of a potential reversal. Okay, so I'm looking for these patterns at the top of an uptrend or at the bottom of a downtrend, because that's an indication for me that we're likely going to reverse. Now, do understand how to play these probability candles. You play it based on the time frame that you're charting, right? So or trading. So if you're trading in a day trade, right, you're looking for these price action candlesticks on a smaller time frame. If you're looking for a swing trade, then you're looking for these price action candlesticks on a larger time frame traditionally. For instance, if I'm looking to hold this overnight, then I'm looking for a 5 to 15 minute. I know 5 minute is sketch, but at the same time, if I'm at a key level, I am zooming in a little bit more on a smaller time frame, hoping to sync the price action with my key level, right? But the 15 minute is a better confirmation around that point if you are trying to hold. Okay, so just keep that in mind. I think this is on long enough for me to now get rid of it. All right, so hopefully that all makes sense. But as you can see on the side of my chart where you see all the alerts, just know that I am giving these alerts to you guys. Rather you're KGU or Sacrifice for Riches, the only people that don't really see these alerts is the community, okay? Or like the public, because I just can't be posted in 5 different places, right? Between Instagram, TikTok, Discord, YouTube, like no, it is what it is. KGU, you guys get a tag once or twice a day, about 3 days a week, right? Because I've been instructed not to like overcrowd the tags, which makes total sense. We have enough people giving plays or whatever. So I'm just doing my part. And so if I see a strong like or potential play, I give you the breakdown. I tell you what we're doing for entry, exit, for calls, inputs, and I give you the take profit targets. And then the last thing I'll say on that point, right? We had Intel set up too, but the last thing I'll say on that point is, hold on, yeah, we were set. Whew, we were set. On that point is, if you see me post, right? If you see me post a message like this that gives you a breakdown, right? Then you don't need to look to me for a contract, okay? The contract that I'm looking at is likely in line with my take profit targets. Rather it's the 1, the 2, or the 3, right? The 1, the 2, the 3, or the max, right? Either way, I would not advise. This is what I do. I set up my contracts based on my targets, right? And the concept or the idea is that my theory is that the move can happen all the way to the max take profit target. So that tells me that if I can buy the contract at take profit 1, right, and it makes sense, then great, I can buy that with the concept or the theory that we could shoot well beyond that. What does that do? That just tells me that there's a chance that my contract is going to have intrinsic value, meaning that it's going to be worth a lot more money if this play runs to the level to which I think you could run at max. So that's what that means. If you grab a max take profit or a max take profit target as your strike price for a contract, then you're likely going to have greater return because it's so far out of the money if it were to run to that take profit target, just so you know. But you are also at a greater risk because you're so far away or so far out of the money that if the market decides to, flip a switch and go against you, then you'll be down red real fast. So you got to be careful about this, and you have to understand that if you do take something that far out, then you have to be cognizant of what you're willing to lose. So when you exit those plays or enter those plays, we have to practice what I talked about, which was acceptance. Okay, so remember that acceptance video and try to live by it, or try to just think about it as you're making these decisions. I have to remind myself. I just rewatch my own video, and sometimes you just got to do that, right? Just to get yourself like in the right headspace, right? It's okay. But yeah, does that all make sense? Does that all make sense? So that was the SPY. That was the SPY, and I don't want to spend too much time here. Typically, these are supposed to be about 20 to 30 minutes. I don't need to spend an hour talking about the SPY, right? It is what it is. But I will zoom in just to see what we got going on, okay? So look at that. It actually hit my level at 665.13, almost perfect. Now, what happened up here is that we did get a doji candle at the top of an uptrend, right? The only problem is that we didn't get any pause. We hit the top of this my level at the top of this uptrend, and we got the doji, which would typically represent a signal for reversal. The problem is that we didn't get any type of bearish side imbalance. So like that means that we didn't get a flood of sellers. Sell side imbalance. We didn't get a flood of sellers that came in that were just knocking the price down, right? But instead, right, they were met with resistance, and you knew that this wasn't really gonna follow through because of how you're seeing it right now. So what do I mean? What I mean is that when I'm at a 65 minute, when I know the bulls are kind of in control, I see a push like this towards the upside, right? But then eventually they really take off, and then you see a gap here to here, right? And this gap that you see is a bunch of buyers hitting the ask button and then just ignoring all the bids, right? So the gap between candle here and the candle here, right? The bottom of the candle here and the top of the candle here, that difference is what you see when you're buying a contract between the bid, the mid, and the ask, right? So hopefully that makes sense. So essentially, we have a bunch of bidders, and then something happened in the market where people say, okay, screw the bid, I'm buying the ask. And all those people that were like left with the bids, that's them in purple. The purple is all the bidders. The bidders are left behind, right? They did not get filled. Instead, people were buying the ask because they wanted to be in the play, right? They felt that the value of the contract was worth the ask versus the mid or the bid, right? So it's just a quick take. I mean, we talked about this with how I play supply and demand, blah blah blah, but that's what happened. And then eventually what happens is that we take off, but we always typically come back, like where your imbalance almost acts as a gravitational pull, because all those bidders are still left there holding their contracts waiting to be filled. So we get a fill side imbalance, right? And that's what it's called, where we shoot up and we ignore all of the bidders and we come back down to pick them up, and then we just continue to take off, right? So that's kind of what that is. So anyway, typically during these sessions, I'm not doing a lot of like teaching like this, but it is what it is. Like I want to give context as we are doing this. But anyway, just to flow through the SPY. So we came up, we hit our target, and we have supply. This is supply nonetheless. It's just not as strong as what we like to see, but you know, the SPY has been on what they've been on. So 65 minute, I'm gonna go ahead and give this a darker level. If you see a darker chart, a darker supply zone with a white border, that means that it's likely a supply zone that's an hour plus, right? An hour plus time frame. If it's like this, and again, I'm doing this just so you guys know how to see my charts when you see it. If you see one like this, that means that it's more of an intraday. Actually, sorry, I have an intraday one now. This is an intraday where it's like a borderline yellow, right? And if it's not bordered yellow, then it's probably just sitting in between. But mind you, I typically like to stick with either an intraday or a swing zone, right? So I know how to play that zone, right? Pretty much the higher the zone, the higher the time frame, the stronger the zone. Okay. So what happened? Look, I mean, the supply zone works. We popped up, we hit supply, we came back down to retest this supply zone, which is a passive area for the most part. And then we came back to retest that supply, as you can see right here, and we were rejected. And we were rejected back down to my key level of 663. At 663, we looked like we found some support. So we got some strength here, and we're still above VWAP, anchored VWAP, if you follow that. So we're still bullish on the SPY. However, this is a very, very delicate level, right? Because we're stuck, right? We're torn between these two ranges at this point, right? So just be careful. I would not be looking at any trades in between this area. I'm just gonna tag it red just so people can whatever. I'll tag it yellow just so you can see. This is like a no-go zone. You know what? I think Keenan uses danger zone. So this is a no-go zone. This is a danger zone. Like, I would not be trading. Sorry, hold up. I would not be trading or entering a trade between these levels. I would be looking preferably on reaction at these levels. Okay. Here and then even here. Now, for this situation down here, you're likely best bet is to see if we fall through, right? And then rock it back through. Like, so do a strong wick back through this level 663. So just know that if we fall into supply and we fail to break back above it, then we're pretty bearish at this point, okay? So what do I mean? If we fall into the zone, we'll likely come back to retest, and we fail to break out of this zone, then we would be looking for price action candles to bring us down back to about 661, okay? On the flip side, I know it's a lot going on. Hopefully everybody's tracking. On the flip side, if we come back to test 663, we might come back in and chop up, because I have this as like my chop zone. We're looking for price action to represent a bullish reversal for us to continue towards the upside. And then our take profit target is going to be 664.52. Now, I'm going to take some time tonight and figure out my alerts and then my levels as far as like entry and exits, where I just told you, but I'm going to enter the information so that when I'm alerted, I can let y'all know when I'm in, if that makes sense. So that would be me pulling like one of these calls puts, and like this is a placeholder. Now, if you're in Sacrifice for Riches, right, and you see something like this as a placeholder, and I don't have any content, like any levels here, don't fear, right? Like, just understand that this is the chart, right? You know the levels because we just talked about it. It might be in your best interest to set those levels, because I might not always be able to, right? But just do know I am looking for calls or puts at this point, right? And I'm taking a position 9 times out of 10 if I see confirmation. And then the rest is history. The rest is how far you're going to take it up or down. You know, that's whatever you're into, like whatever you accept as far as your profits go. Okay. I'm not going to talk about PTRN. I'm going to do that in a different video. Any questions? I've done a lot of talking. And hopefully it clears some air. But again, we're technically bullish on the SPY. We hit a wall. We got rejected. Hold up. We're still technically bullish, but we failed to hit a higher high. And we are looking now to see if we confirm this head and shoulders. Okay? Because that's what this is right now. We have a higher high, higher low, higher low. I'm sorry, higher high, lower high, right? And now we're gonna see if we break through here. So an indication is if we break below 663, and then if we fall below 662.68 and live below that level, then there's a strong chance that we'll at least come back down and retest this neckline of about 660 to 660.48. Okay. So 661 to 660.48. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm talking pretty quick, but Let me do that. Get rid of that. And my wife never brought me a drink, so I'm gonna have to stop talking soon. Okay. All right. So let's go back here. Please hit the like, the subscribe, notification bell. If you are, everybody here is a member that's talking, right? Put a fire emoji and let everybody know if you were hidden on those rapid fire alerts that we set for the week. I want to know. Do me a favor. You know, technically, we have the screenshots. You know, we have a win column, and the win column was on fire. Let's see if I can find it. Yep, win column's on fire. I can just do this to make it make sense. And then essentially, let's see, from, yeah, this is the whole week right here. Just absolutely killing the game. Let's see here. 26%. Let's see, where are we at? 912. Okay, let's see here. SoFi, good hit on that. Who is this? I don't know. Thought it was our boy. I can't see. Okay. I don't know why everybody's cut off. That's interesting. Your name. That's Will the fee. Will to the fee. 330% on WBD. Love to see it. And shout out to you, Queen. Chanel. Shout out to you. I see you. I haven't reviewed these, so I've hit a fire emoji and I kind of skimmed through, but I'm taking like a good peek right now. Tesla, shout out to you. Roll Life, Spark 40. I see you, Big Doug. Hey, that was one of the calls that we called out. I see you. Amp X call. Love to see it. Wilthofia Queen again. These are our Megalodons at work. Nvidia by Priest. Hey, good 50 piece. I love to see it. Shout out to you. Marvel. Okay, I see. Hey, the Queen is in the building. Hold on, I didn't put a like on that. Hey, look at Priest. Always keep a 1K back for real lives. Let's get it. Queen again. Wilthofia is just taking over right now in the win column on Snap. 44% on that. IWM killing it. Wins on, what is this? Coin. Hey, we called Coin several times last week. Right? Coin. Killing it. Nvidia. Killing it. Who is this? Angela. Angela's a new queen, a new Megalodon. Shout out to you. Crazy return. Doing business. Look, hey, Tone, you've come a long way, big dog. I love to see it. $50 on who's that? On Hood. Let's go. Hey, Queen Nandi is always doing work. Tone on Lyft. Man, you guys are just crazy. Love to see it. Y'all make more money than me. I'm a low risk guy. Hey, and you killed it right here on SoFi too. So shout out to everybody who's killing the game. Love to see it. Love to see it. So I'm sitting here just for a couple minutes. If y'all have any questions, you let me know. And then I've got to tune out. All right. What is the tool you use for messaging how far the stock will run? In other words, how you set your ceiling. LT, you have to go through my training. And LT, if you are a Megalodon, you have access to that. So why don't you go to the playlist and check out the class sessions, big dog. You got this. It's the deep dives for the Megalodons. Alert been hitting. Love to see it. Wish I had more hands and money. Facts. Facts. All right. I love to see it. What else we got? Any thoughts on Chewy to the upside this week? I think a pop. Thanks for bringing Chewy to my attention. Absolutely, queen. All right, I'll do this. I'll go back for Chewy, and that's the only ticker I'll go to, just because Chewy's like an old baby of mine, and I've really paid a lot of attention to it. But we're gonna get into it. All right, let's just real quick. Where did I talk about Chewy last? Was it in this? So let me go to the rapid fire and see if we have a Chewy set up here. And we do. Okay, so you guys already know how my levels work, right? So with Chewy, on the broad scope, we are still bearish on this stock until we break above $39.79. Okay, as of right now, Chewy, you're looking for a pop. You're not crazy, but at the same time, I do want you to see that this was a previous line of ascending level of support that then is being retested as a potential level of resistance. So technically we're bullish. We're still bullish in my opinion, but we're at a really key point, because I do notice that the buying volume is kind of tapering off, and we're below this level. So I'm not really bullish on Chewy until we break above 39.79. And when I look at the chart right now in this daily time frame, I do see that we're in a what do you call it? A symmetrical triangle, right? We're in a symmetrical triangle, so we are very neutral. So just expect the dog and pony show for a little bit, but a pop is potentially happening for Chewy. Okay, so I always like to draw up these triangles because I think they're just important to identify. But I can't see them coming back up to retest 39.79, or at least doing a false move towards the upside, right, before it kind of makes a decision. Now, after this touch, right, we're likely to see Chewy to kind of either come back. If it comes all the way back down, right, then I can see it selling off, at least down to about $30.90. If it touches and comes back, I would be looking for more like the halfway point, which is right around $38.48. So if we come here, touch here, and we want to look for a bullish like reversal, a candlestick pattern for a potential breakout. Okay, so this is potential 1, and I'll draw it in green. Okay, and then so potential 2 for the same situation is coming here, right? Coming to do the touch, right? But this time coming down to retest this ascending line of support, and then being blocked off. Let me make sure my levels are good. Being blocked off at this. This is a peak of a potential, like I'm sorry. This is a supply zone area. Just so you know, it's weak, but it's a passive supply zone area. I'm just not listing it, but we can definitely come back here to around $30, right? About $30, or we can continue down right here to this level right here. So I'm gonna do this. So this is a take profit target if we were to fall to the downside, right? And actually, let me change this red. Right, and then we have our take profit target towards the upside, which this is right around 47 to 47.46 to about 48.60, because this is about the range of a supply zone towards the upside. Okay, and I'll draw that box so you can see it too. And then if you need this chart, just let me know, Queen, and I'll share it with you. You know what, everybody here, you can get this chart if you're in this chat and you stuck around long enough. There you go. There's the chart for Chewy. Okay, but understand that we are this is our range to which we're trading at. So if I'm zooming in, and I want you to see where's 1 second. There we go. I'm clean up the screen so you can have a good look. All right. So I know this is kind of kittywampus. I can get rid of these, but let's clean it up. I don't need this to know what's going on here. So again, symmetrical triangle, right? And then as long as we're below $39.79, we're bearish. Above it, we're bullish. And then these are our targets towards the upside and also the downside, which I will list that 33, 34 is demand, and then 47, 46 roughly is supply. So we're looking for these ranges. Man, I'm just getting pretty right here. Boom. And because this is of interest to me, I actually would be surprised if I don't have an alert already set for this. So let's say Chewy 39. Yep, here it is. Let's just turn that back on. But I do need to set my messages. Okay, so I'm going to say this. Also, I'm probably going to stop, unless there's something different, I'm probably going to stop showing like the entry and exit here. Like maybe I'll just keep it because it really doesn't hurt. But essentially my entry is going to be the crossing point. So confirmation above or below this level is going to be my entry and or exit. Okay. So I just want you to know that. And for this one, I'm going to just put my max right away. And I'll deal with the other levels later. I just don't feel like looking into it right now. I'm already on here longer than I should be. And then let's go max. And then it's going to be 33, 34. So we're going to say Chewy. Big move coming. Be patient because it's going to be a little choppy, right? So hopefully that helps. And you know what? I'll do this as well. If you're still here, let's see how many people we got. 27 people. Here's the play. Anything in between, you know, the entry and the max take profit, you take profit when you made enough, right? Right now I'm not dialing it in right now to, 43.51. If it's easy, I'll do it. 44.77. I can't help myself. I gotta help. 37.88. And $35. All right, so there you go. I wrote the whole play. So here's the play for the week for now. Shout out to the queen for asking. Closed mouths don't get fed. You don't know what you don't know. And there you go. There's a takeaway. Hopefully it was helpful, everybody. My pleasure. Thanks always, game. Hey, thank you for being here and supporting me and the community and yourself. Shout out to you. Let's go. All right. That is all I got. This is Dr. Real Sacrifice for Riches. Thank you, everybody, for being here and supporting the community and supporting me. I mean, it's genuinely appreciated. I love what I do. And you guys have been validating my actions and what I've been doing for a long time. But I mean, a flood of comments have come in this past week, and I can't tell you like how much that means, like, because you just don't know if you're on the right path sometimes. And then when you guys speak out and you actually leave comments and you show up and you hit that like and you hit the subscribe and you show the wins, you just take the time to do that, and you don't have to. It really goes a long way, and it keeps me grounded, it keeps me humble, and it keeps me just excited to do what I'm doing. So thank you, y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your Sunday. And I will see y'all on the next one. All right, take care. Let's go here. Let's go here. And it's